Welcome to the next lecture in electrical machines. So in this lecture we will focus our discussion on lap and wave winding. So first let us see the lap winding. So lap winding will have a consecutive coils which overlap each other. So you will have lot of coils which are overlapping each other. The first end of the winding is connected to the one segment of the commutator, and the starting end of the other coil is placed under the same magnet or a different pole and joined with the same segment of the commutator. So here you can see the different commutators 1, 2 and 3. For example, we have been shown, and there are two colors, red and green, which are being shown as coil 1 and coil 2. So you can see that for under this you have a conductor coil 1, which is the this starting end of one next coil and the finishing end of one coil, both are coming under the one commutator. So you have two different coils is coming under the one commutator, so it is a overlap. The conductors are connected in such a way that the number of parallel path is equal to number of poles. So we know that in lap winding we will have number of parallel paths is equal to number of poles. So next, consider that any machine which is having a P poles and Z armature conductor, then there will be P parallel path and each path will have Z by P conductor in series. So Z by P conductors will be there in series, where Z is the number of conductors and P is the number of parallel paths. The number of brushes is equivalent to the number of parallel path. So again the same equation, number of parallel path is equal to number of poles is equal to number of brushes. Now half of the brush will be positive and the remaining half will be negative. So half of the brush will be positive and other half will be negative. Now let us classification of the lap winding we do. So lap winding can be classified into the first type, which is known as the simplex lap winding. Here the number of parallel path between the brushes is equal to the number of poles, and in duplex lap winding you can see the number of parallel path between the brushes is twice the number of poles. So it indicates that it will be 2m. So m is the number classification of the lap winding. So if you have a simplex, then it is equal to 2 into 1. If you have a duplex, then it is equal to 2 into 2. Okay, so what is the number of poles you are having? So depending upon that you will be classifying this. So let us see here. So you have a simplex lap winding where, and it is a duplex lap winding. So you can see that under the one one poles, this is the one poles, you have two conductors that you have. Under the duplex lap winding, if you can see that there are two set of conductors which are under the influence of one particular pole. So that is the difference between simplex lap winding and duplex lap winding. Here the parallel path between the brushes is equal to the number of poles. Here number of parallel path is twice. So here you can see that it is twice of this. So it is simplex lap winding, it is a duplex lap winding. So now lap winding connection can be either progressive lap winding or retrogressive lap winding. So if it is coming back, then it is known as retrogressive. If it is going forward, then it is known as progressive lap winding. Now we introduce some of the term. So here if you have YF, it is meant front pitch. If you have YB, it is known as back pitch. YR is known as the resultant pitch, and YC is known as the commutator pitch. So everything depends upon the distance. So when you have a back pitch, it is basically the distance of a particular conductor when it is going and when it is coming. So what is the distance between that? And there is known as a back pitch. So in front pitch, two different conductors are involved. So one is going and the other conductor is returning. So that is a front pitch, and resultant pitch will be how the depending upon the back pitch and the front pitch that we are going to see. Commutator pitch is basically the center to center distance between two commutator segment. So let us describe them. Then the back pitch is equal to the front pitch plus minus 2m, where m is the multiplicity of the winding. So if you have the m equal to 1, then it is a simplex lap winding. If you have m equal to 2, then it is known as duplex lap winding. Then in that case, the back pitch is equal to front pitch plus minus 2m. So here you can see it is a back pitch, this is front pitch, and you have the resultant pitch. So if you have a progressive winding, then your back pitch will be more than the front pitch. If you have a retrogressive winding, then your back pitch will be less than the front pitch. The back pitch and front pitch in the lap winding is always odd, and the resultant pitch is the difference of the back pitch and front pitch, and since both are odd, it will be even. So resultant pitch will be even. Average pitch is basically back pitch plus front pitch divided by 2, that is the average of the back pitch and front pitch, which is equal to the pole pitch. So pole pitch is given by Z by P, where Z is the number of conductors and P is the number of poles. Now back pitch in this case is equal to Z by P. It is equivalent to Z by P, whereas you can find out from this equation here back pitch will be equal to Z by P. Now commutator pitch will be equal to plus minus m, where m is the simplest multiplicity of the winding, so it can be plus minus 1 for simplex lap winding or plus minus 2 for duplex lap winding. And number of parallel path in lap winding is m into p. So in case of simplex lap winding, you will be having the number of parallel path a equal to p, whereas in the duplex lap winding you will have a equal to 2p. So that is what is there. Now let us understand the connections. So here it has been shown how the conductors move in the form of the lap winding and connected across the various commutator segments, and we have the brushes. So half of the brushes are positive and another half is negative. So this is the most simplified connection being shown. So we can connect the winding lap fashion depending upon the back connection and the front connection. So you can start from one, and then how many commutator segments are there, how many conductors are there, and how many poles are there, that will determine the connection. So we have taken one example where if you have the commutator number segment 1, then it will go to 1 plus yb. So here back pitch is 5, so it will move to 6. So when the first back connections will be at 6, and the front connection, if you say 6, it will start. So 6 minus yf, that is the front pitch. So front pitch is at 3, so it will end at 3. So in this way we can move all these connections and try to obtain this winding. So the basic connection, simplified connection, we can see that here the winding will be connected between 1 and 6, because we have seen the back connection is 1 and 6, and then you have a connection between 3 and 8. So we have a connection between 3 and 8. So in this way, if we follow it, we can connect the winding in the form of lap winding. Now, what is an equalizer ring and why do we need it? So lap winding, generally what happens is that the induced EMF in the parallel path is not exactly equal. So since there are two parallel paths or m number of parallel paths, so induced EMF will not be equal, then it will result in internal circulating current. So since the EMF is not equal, so internal circulating current will be there in the armature circuit and in the brushes. This can cause excessive heating, sparking at the brushes, and mechanical vibration. So in order to avoid that, we connect an equalizer ring at the back of the armature. So we connect an equalizer ring at the back of the armature so that the EMF become equal. Now then the function of the equalizer ring is to avoid the unequal distribution of the current at the brushes, thereby helping to get sparkless commutation. So this is the function of the equalizer ring, because the EMF induced in parallel path is not equal. How many equalizer ring do we need? So equalizer ring, m number of equalizer ring will be required, which is Z by 2p. Z is the number of armature conductors and 2p, where p is the number of pair of poles. So advantages of lap winding, let us see. So it will require for large current application because it has more parallel path. So wherever you require more current, you prefer for lap winding. and it is suitable for low voltage and high current generators, because large current is associated with low voltage, so low voltage and high current generators it will be used. And the disadvantage is that it gives less EMF compared to wave winding. So wave winding EMF will be more as compared to the lap winding, and it will require more number of conductors for giving the same EMF, which result in high winding cost. So here conductor requirement is more, so cost is more and EMF is less. However, when current is more, so such type of applications where more current is required, we prefer lap winding. It has less efficient utilization of space in the armature slots. So as the connection is either progressive or retrogressive lap winding, so it has less efficient utilization of the space. Now we'll go for wave winding. So wave winding, one end of the coil is connected to the starting end of the other coil, which has the same polarity as that of the first coil. Then we can see that here there are two coils which are being shown, with one with red color and other with green color, and different poles are there, north south and north south. So here one end of the coil is connected to the starting end of the other coil. So here you can the start of the coil 2, whereas end of coil 1 are connected to each other. So coils are connected in the form of wave shape. So if you see, then the coil, you will find that it is in the form of wave which is moving ahead, so it is known as wave winding. Conductors of the wave winding are split into two parallel paths, and each path has jet by two conductors in series. So there are two parallel paths in the wave winding, and jet by two conductors are in series, whereas in lap winding you will have jet by p conductors in series. So number of brushes is equal to 2 number of parallel paths. So number of parallel path is 2, hence number of brushes will be also equal to 2. Now here also you can have a progressive wave winding or retrogressive wave winding. If after one round of the armature the coil falls in a slot right to its starting slot, the winging, then it is known as progressive lap winding. So here you can see that this falls to the right of the first conductor. So this is falling at the right of the first conductor. And in the retrogressive wave winding, if after one round of the armature, so after you complete one round, the coil is falling slot left to the starting point. So if it is falling left to the starting point, then it is known as a retrogressive wave winding. So whether it is moving to the right or whether it is moving to the left after completing one round, that depends upon whether it is progressive or retrogressive. So here in this case we find that the back pitch and front pitch are nearly equal to the pole pitch and may be equal or differ by plus minus 2, where plus is for progressive winding and minus is for retrogressive winding. So both back pitch and front pitch are generally equal to the pole pitch. So pole pitch is basically center to center distance of the poles. So here the pole pitch is basically equal to Z by P. So resultant pitch here is the sum of back pitch plus front pitch, and the commutator pitch is equal to the average pitch in this case. So whereas the average pitch, as you know, it will be back pitch plus front pitch divided by 2. So it will be Z plus minus 2 divided by P, where plus minus will be indicated of whether it is a progressive winding or whether it is a retrogressive winding. And here you should understand that the average pitch must be an integer. This winding is not possible with any number of conductors. So wave winding is a special type of winding. It is not possible for any number of winding conductors because the average pitch must be an integer. So let us take an example where you have 8 conductors and a 4-pole machine. Then the average pitch that you will be getting is 8 plus minus 2 divided by 4. So you'll get 2 half or 3 half. Then it is not an integer. So being fractional, no wave winding is possible. But if there are 6 conductors, so here we have taken 8 conductors. Now if I take 6 conductor, then what will happen? Then in 6 conductor it will be 6 plus minus 2 divided by 4. So we are getting 2, which is an integer. So it is possible for 6 conductor, but it is not possible for 8 conductors. So this problem can be dealt if we introduce a dummy coil in the wave winding. So what is a dummy coil? Let us see. So dummy coil is basically is used when wave winding is possible only with a particular number of conductor and slot combinations. So as in the previous example, we have seen that wave winding is not possible for any number of conductors, but and it is possible only with a particular number of conductor and slot combination. So it is not always possible to have standard stamping in the winding shop. So when you go in a winding shop for any winding, it is not possible because consisting of number of slot according to the design requirement. So whatever your design requirement is there, it is not possible to provide the stampings. So in this case, dummy coils are basically employed. So dummy coils are placed in the slot to give the machine the mechanical balance, but they are not electrically connected to rest of the winding. So it is only to provide the mechanical balance. It is not giving any electrical connection. So if you see here, you have the main conductor which is present in the armature slot, and you have a dummy coil. So these dummy coils are only for the balance, but it is not providing any electrical connection with any of the other conductors. So we take an example of 17 slot 4 pole machine with a 34 conductors, and here we form a wave winding. So we will start from 1, and in this case you know that back pitch is equal to front pitch plus minus 2m, whereas the average pitch is equal to z plus minus 2m divided by p. So if you have, you know, the in this case you calculate your back pitch. So back pitch will be 9. So you will start from 1 and end with 10. So this is the back connection. Similarly, in the front connection, if you move, then it will start from 10. Then the front pitch is 9. So it will end with 19. To 10 to 19. So if we know the front pitch and the back pitch, we basically can do the connections with the commutator segment to bring out the winding in the form of lap connection or wave connection. So what is the advantage of wave winding and the simplex nature? So only two brushes are required, but more parallel brushes can be added to make it equal to the number of poles. So we are requiring only two brushes. You can add more number of parallel brushes. If one or more brushes set poor contact with the commutator, satisfactory operation is still possible. So it doesn't fall out if some of the brushes are not having a good contact with the commutator, still it is possible. So giving sparkless commutation because it is having only two parallel path irrespective of the number of pole of the machine. Like in lap winding, your number of parallel path will be depending on the number of poles. Here, since it is having only two parallel path, it is giving a sparkless commutation. So if you have for a given, so if you fix the number of poles and the number of conductors, so it will give you more EMF as compared to the lap winding. So wave winding is generally used for high voltage and low current machine. So we have seen that in lap winding, we generally use for high current machine. Here we use for high voltage machine because EMF is more. So generally it will be in the range of 500 to 600 volts. So disadvantage cannot be used in machine having higher current rating where the lap winding is used. So higher current rating you don't use because it has only two parallel paths. However, when you require high voltage, then we use wave winding. So if we compare the lap winding and wave winding under different scenarios and different basis of comparisons, so on the basis of definitions, so lap winding is coil is lap back to the succeeding coil, wave winding is coil of the winding form a wave shape. So here wave shape will be forming. Connection, the end of the armature coil is connected to an adjacent segment on the commutator. Here the end of the armature coil is connected to the commutator segment some distance apart. So parallel path, number of parallel path are equal to the number of poles. So always number of poles it will be equal, and here it will be 2 parallel path. Other name what we form for a lap winding. So it is parallel winding, multiple winding. Here it is from 2 circuit or series winding. Now in lap winding your EMF will be less and here EMF will be more. Similarly, number of brushes will be equal to the number of parallel path. Here brushes will be fixed as 2 because you have 2 parallel paths. Types, you can have simplex, duplex lap winding, you can have progressive and retrogressive wave winding. Efficiency, if you see, so here you have less efficiency, here you have high efficiency. Additional coil, so here you have the equalizer ring connected because EMF has to be equal. Here you connect a dummy coil for mechanical balance. Winding cost is high because of more conductor is required. Here winding cost is less. Uses, so it will be used in low voltage high current machine, it will be used in high voltage low current machine. So we have classified the lap winding and wave winding. There are two different classes of armature winding which are used under different scenarios based on the application and based on the connection. Thank you.